Breaking number of tornadoes have touched down in Ohio this year. Plus, Donald Trump's sentencing is delayed after yesterday's Supreme Court decision. And how you can stay safe exercising in the summer heat. Newswatch starts right now. Good evening, I'm Donovan Varney and welcome to Newswatch. Lead forecaster Isabel Isco now joins us with a look at our weather. Isabel, how's it looking?
Thanks, Donovan. Currently out there, we are at 90 degrees, those clear skies. It has been a pretty pleasant day out there. It's been very comfortable. That humidity at 31%, that means that it's pretty dry out there if you're outside today. Hopefully you were. I know I was wishing I was outside today. With that 31% of humidity, it feels comfortable out there other than muggy, which we've been used to these last few weeks. In our system right now, we're having this high pressure system in our area that's been giving us these past couple clear days before some rain creeps in for the rest of our week. On that radar, you can see that we're just getting kind of brushed by with some rain. We're missing any kind of really chance of rain in there. Just a couple scattered clouds here and there, but right now we're looking clear and beautiful in Athens with those sunny skies at 90 degrees, Lancaster 88, Huntington 89. It has been very pleasurable out there, a little bit above average temperatures. Yesterday we're a little bit below, but we can't really keep a temperature going here in southeast Ohio. It's been very unpredictable. But tonight we're going to have a pretty nice night with that 67 degree low. It is going to be another dry one, just a few clouds out there, but the rest of our week is looking rainy. I'll be talking about just how much those 4th of July plans are going to have to change in my full forecast. Let's take it back over to Donovan.
Thanks, Isabel. 2024 is officially the worst year for tornadoes in Ohio. The 63rd of the year touched down last weekend in Huron County. That breaks the previous record of 62 set in 1992. For those affected by the March 14th tornadoes in southeast Ohio, you can still apply for a low-interest physical disaster loan through the U.S. Small Business Administration. Businesses, homeowners, and renters in the area are able to apply. The Athens and Hocking County residents are sharing their opinions about a possible parcel fee tonight. You're taking a live look inside the Nelsonville Public Library, where the Solid Waste District is putting on their second public hearing on the fees. The district wants to impose this $24 annual fee on Athens and Hocking counties as part of its 15-year financial plan, which includes buying the local recycle center. The fee would go down to $20 once the center is paid off. The next and final public hearing will be on July 11th at the Hocking County Fairgrounds Youth Building. Keep your eyes peeled around Nelsonville for new street signs. The city is replacing about 400 of the currently green signs with highly visible white signs. They're unique to Nelsonville and include the city's 8-point star brick symbol outlined by the state of Ohio. Installation started yesterday. Typically, the city auctions or scraps old signs, but it's possible that citizens may be allowed to purchase them, although nothing is final on that decision. The city of Athens has issued a boil advisory for residents on Hillcrest Drive west of Strathmore Boulevard and Utah Place north of Dalton Avenue. The advisory is in effect until 1 p.m. tomorrow. A boil advisory does not mean the water is definitely contaminated, but water providers cannot know for sure until 24 hours after a sample is taken. When an advisory is in effect, the city of Athens recommends you bring your water to a full boil for 3 minutes before use. Use boiled water for drinking and food preparation, and put a cup over your faucets as a reminder to not use tap water, even for when you brush your teeth. A former Columbus Zoo official pleaded guilty this morning for his role in a scheme to defraud the zoo and the public of more than $2 million. Pete Fingerhut, the zoo's former marketing director, pleaded guilty to all 16 felony counts and 1 misdemeanor, including aggravated theft, conspiracy, and tampering with records. Fingerhut agreed to pay almost $700,000 in restitution as part of his plea deal with the prosecutor. He will be sentenced on September 23rd after the legal proceedings of 3 other former Columbus Zoo officials are over. Over 42 counties' court systems will receive new technology to automate their records. Through a grant of almost $900,000, the state is purchasing 77 new live scan devices. These live scan devices will be used to capture defendants' fingerprints for submission to the Ohio database. Perry, Pike, Hocking, Lawrence, Scioto, and Gallia counties are included in this grant. An Ohio organization submitted thousands of signatures from Ohioans seeking to change the redistricting process. The group of citizens, not politicians, delivered the signatures to create an anti-gerrymandering constitutional amendment for voters. They began collecting signatures in December of 2023 and delivered 730,000, almost double the 414,000 that were required. Ohio Secretary of State Frank LaRose's office has about 3 weeks to determine the validity of each signature. There could be another minimum wage increase for Ohio workers if voters can get it on the ballot in November. Activists have until tomorrow to get over 400,000 valid voter signatures. Raise the Wage Ohio is proposing that tipped workers receive $15 plus tips in 2026. Ohio's minimum wage went up in January of this year. Currently, non-tipped workers make $10.45 per hour, while tipped workers make $5.45 an hour. Republican senators are offering an alternative, raising the wage to $15 for non-tipped workers over 4 years starting in 2028, with tipped workers receiving $7.50 an hour. Coming up, yesterday's Supreme Court decision has caused Trump's sentencing to be delayed. And Hurricane Beryl continues to create a path of devastation.
It has been a pretty pleasant couple of days, but there is some rain coming in our forecast. Next on Newswatch.
I do not believe you can provide the police with a psychological evaluation that is impartial.
There have been 4 more unexplained sudden deaths in the southeast.
Professor?
We need your help.
A sterile, vacuum-sealed environment. Perfect.
I'm afraid we won't need your services anymore.
We're just gonna let people die.
My unconscious is urging me to hotwire a police car.
You can't drive.
Exactly.
Where are we going?
Sunday at 8 on WOUB.
On Masterpiece Mystery.
Roses for the kitchen.
I came home and just found her here. She likes to be helpful.
Reverend Cotteram, how are you finding the parish?
Interesting. Multiple stab wounds to the chest. He was blackmailing someone. Is it just me, or are they weirder than the creature from the Black Lagoon? Daniel, come take a seat. What are you holding on to? Grantchester, on Masterpiece Mystery.
Sunday at 9 on WOUB.
This is Portofino. It's full of love and beauty, but there's always a scandal.
I want to buy your hotel.
I'd rather burn it to the ground than sell it to you.
What have you got yourself involved in?
Be careful. There'll be no going back.
For God's sake, do it!
What's done is done.
On Masterpiece.
This is the story of one of the widest miscarriages of justice in British legal history.
We'd all had our lives completely tipped upside down.
I went through hell.
It was diabolical. Something had to be done about it.
The real story of Mr. Bates versus the post office. A Masterpiece special. Stream now on the PBS app.
Donald Trump's sentencing date for his hush money trial has been delayed after a Supreme Court decision regarding presidential immunity. Trump was convicted on 34 counts of falsifying business documents on May 30th. He was scheduled to face his sentencing on July 11th, but now he won't until September 18th at the earliest. However, Trump's lawyers argue that the Supreme Court's decision warrants the removal of Trump's conviction. The decision will also result in another delay of Trump's trial regarding his election interference case. Rudy Giuliani is officially disbarred in New York for his part in Donald Trump's election interference efforts in 2020. Today, the state Supreme Court said Giuliani was prohibited from practicing law effective immediately. In its ruling, the court said Giuliani baselessly attacked and undermined the integrity of the country's electoral process, adding that he deliberately violated some of the most fundamental tenets of the legal profession. The former New York City mayor previously had his law license suspended while the court decided on discipline actions against him. The Supreme Court's ruling granted Trump some political immunity also extends to President Joe Biden. Both Trump and Biden are now trying to use the immunity ruling to rally their bases. Washington correspondent Julia Benbrook reports.
President Joe Biden condemning the Supreme Court's Monday decision that ruled presidents have an absolute immunity from prosecution for core official acts.
There are no kings in America. Each of us is equal before the law.
Biden, who has made protecting democracy a central tenet of his campaign, described the decision as a broader pattern from the Supreme Court in undermining, quote, a wide range of long-established legal principles, pointing to other decisions on voting rights and civil rights as he implicitly laid out the stakes for the presidential election.
I know I will respect the limits of the presidential powers I have for 3.5 years. But any president, including Donald Trump, will now be free to ignore the law.
Former President Donald Trump appeared to respond to the speech, calling Biden a, quote, really bad and incompetent guy. The Supreme Court ruling will likely further delay a trial on the federal election subversion case pending against Trump. That's just one of many legal challenges he's facing as he tries to reclaim the White House. The Supreme Court's decision had an instant effect. Trump's legal team filed a letter Monday seeking to challenge the former president's conviction in his New York criminal hush money trial, based on the high court ruling on presidential immunity.
The Biden administration has announced the nation's first federal safety standard aimed to help keep workers safe from excessive heat. This comes as millions of Americans are under extreme heat warnings and advisories. President Biden delivered remarks following the announcement, making it clear that the move works to prevent heat illness in the workplace and it is not political.
When disaster strikes, there are no red states or blue states. I've demonstrated that. I said no matter whether you vote for him or not, everyone's going to get treated fairly.
The rule outlines new requirements for employers to identify heat hazards for workers and how they should respond to help keep their employees safe. Meanwhile, on Tuesday, the Federal Emergency Management Agency also announced it will award nearly $1 billion for more than 650 climate resilience projects. Hurricane Beryl is churning in the Caribbean, leaving a deadly path of destruction in its wake. Lee Waldman explains that the historic storm is heading towards Jamaica now.
The death toll from Hurricane Beryl is rising, with fear that will continue as the powerful storm destroys island communities in the Caribbean.
The island has been flattened. The reports that are coming out show a very, very distressing signal.
Beryl has left parts of St. Vincent and the Grenadines with no electricity or water. Buildings, homes, and boats all torn to pieces. In Barbados, people are struggling to cope with the devastation.
This is madness. I have never seen this in my 46 years of life. This is madness.
The powerful hurricane is making history as the earliest Category 5 storm in the Atlantic hurricane season, with unusually warm waters adding fuel to the storm system. Jamaican officials are activating disaster response protocols in anticipation of Wednesday's landfall. They're warning people about life-threatening winds and storm surge.
The weeks and the months ahead, as the islanders try to recover what they can of their lives and livelihoods, will be a significant challenge for them.
I'm Lee Waldman reporting.
Yeah, Isabel, that looked pretty dangerous stuff right there, yeah?
Yeah, and it's giving, I was reading that it was giving about 90 to 95% of homes either damaged or completely flattened. It is very historic just from being a Category 5 so early in the season, never before seen in July, this intense of a hurricane, and it's just really shown how intense some storms and just any kind of severe weather has been this year. Looking at the Atlantic currently, you'll see Beryl making its way through the Caribbean in its path to really hitting any kind of the next kind of parts of land, Jamaica for Wednesday evening, and then looking to hit Mexico. And after that, it is very unpredictable where it is going to be headed next. If it's going to stay on the Mexico side or go up to parts of Texas. So definitely stick back with us to see just how much of that will be impacting the United States. Here in Athens currently, we are fortunately having some very pleasant weather out there. Athens at 90, Parkersburg at 90, and as we go a little bit more north, they're cooling down already. Newark 88, Zanesville 88. It has been a very pleasurable day out there, very dry, and it has been very nice out there. These nice conditions are going to continue into tonight with that overnight low of 67. Not too warm, not too cold if you want to head outside before some of these rain hits for for our 4th of July. If you want to celebrate a little early, tonight is a perfect night to do it with those partly cloudy skies. For tomorrow morning, we're still going to have some pretty nice weather out there. If anything, we are going to be very warm tomorrow. Right before this storm kind of hits for these next few days, it is going to be pretty warm. This warm front is making its way through tonight into tomorrow, bringing in some pretty warm conditions to start off the day and all throughout the day tomorrow. It's been a warm one today, and it's going to continue before we get this cold front with this round of storms that we're going to have in these next few days. This cold front is going to be pushing in this next round of storms, but before we're hit with those storms, we just have that 30% chance of rain for tomorrow. It is going to be in that latter half of the day, pretty much later into the day, in the almost into Thursday, that the chance of showers is happening. That temperature high of 93, a lot warmer and a little bit more humid with those clouds and that rain coming. So it is going to be a little bit stickier for tomorrow, not as nice as we've had today. Looking at our 4th of July, we're having some rain coming in. It is going to be pretty isolated showers, just spotty here and there. So definitely watch out if you're heading outside. It's a nice day to head outside for 4th of July, but definitely stay weather aware if you want to head out there. We're having these storms pretty much all day for our Thursday and into Friday. We're going to see those 70% chance of thunderstorms for our Friday and kind of latching on to Saturday before we have the next round of storms for early next week. We have tons of rain on our forecast for these next 7 days. Tomorrow, just in the later half of the day with that 30%, and then cooling down with that cold front that I was talking about. We're still going to be in those mid to low 80s for these next few days with those chance of storms and that chance of rain. So definitely stay weather aware if you're heading outside for your 4th of July and 4th of July weekend. The next time you're going to see that sun is Sunday. So if you want to hold off on celebrating, either do it tomorrow or on Sunday if you want to make sure that you really don't have any storms in your plans. And then this time next week, that's whenever we're going to have the next round of some rain making its way in. Right now, we really can't win with these storms here all throughout our 7-day. So definitely stick back with us to see just how much of that rain is going to be impacting us for the next week. Let's take it back over to Donovan.
Thanks, Isabel. Illegal crossings along the southern border of Mexico have fallen to a 3-year low. According to a Homeland Security official, U.S. Border Patrol agents apprehended more than 84,000 migrants last month. That is the lowest monthly level since January of 2021, which is when the border authorities processed more than 75,000 migrants. June also marked the 4th consecutive month of a decline in crossings. Officials have attributed the decline to President Biden's border executive action, restricting asylum access to migrants crossing the border illegally. Next, with the summer heat continuing to rise, how you can exercise outside safely. And for the latest from Newswatch, follow us on Instagram, X, formerly Twitter, and YouTube.
I hear the echoes all through the meadows. Breathe in and let go. That sweet surrender. I've been running all through the night. You can knock me down, but I've got my will to survive. Rise up, rise up.
Together, we can make real change happen.
For more than 70 years, WOUB Public Media has been the place where people in our region turn to learn how stories of the past ignite the imagination of the future. It's where information, entertainment, and education work together to inform, enlighten, and inspire generations. It's the place where the community gathers to hear and see our world in new and innovative ways. WOUB, the public media you trust that's worthy of your support.
WOUB is recognizing members of our Cornerstone Society. The Cornerstone Society is a group that wants to ensure the future of public media in our region. It includes people across our area who value news, entertainment, and cultural programming, as well as the educational services WOUB provides. Also included are graduates of Ohio University who took part in the WOUB Student Professional Development Program. Thanks to the Cornerstone Society for their generous support. To learn how you can be involved, email woub@woub.org.
The U.S. government has inked a deal with Moderna for the development of a new mRNA-based pandemic flu vaccine. Health officials say the $176 million contract is just in case a vaccine becomes necessary amid the latest bird flu outbreak. Moderna has a vaccine candidate in early testing, but late-stage testing wouldn't start until next year. The government has already a traditional platform vaccine under production that could be available as early as this month. Officials continue to stress that the risk of bird flu to the general population remains pretty low. The Supreme Court is once again assessing the Food and Drug Administration's decisions and scientific expertise. The justices agreed to review the FDA's power to regulate e-cigarettes. The multi-billion-dollar industry has come under scrutiny for its popularity among young people. The FDA says when approving a product, it looks at the risk and benefit to the entire population, not just the user. It denied applications for several e-cigarettes, namely ones that are candy or dessert flavored. Earlier this term, the Supreme Court ruled in favor of the FDA and continued to access to a key abortion drug. People who exercise in extreme heat are at high risk, but experts say you could be active outside if you do it carefully. Mandy Gaither has more on how to stay safe while exercising in the heat in today's Health Minute.
It can be a challenge staying fit in the summer heat.
It's the outdoor exercise sports that people enjoy doing that we have to be a little bit more cautious as it pertains to heat-related illness.
Sports medicine specialist Dr. Matthew Anastasi with the Mayo Clinic says if you enjoy outdoor exercise, choose times of the day when it's less hot.
We usually recommend early mornings and later evenings in the summertime just to stay away from those times of maximal temperature.
Start slow, picking up the pace over time. Wear loose, lightweight, light-colored clothing, which can also help keep you cooler, and monitor the humidity.
Because that helps determine how much stress the body is really going to be under.
Sweating depletes the body of electrolytes, so staying hydrated is key before, during, and after you're active.
How long of a duration are you going to be exercising for? Because that will help determine how much water you need to bring with you. Is that a 12-ounce bottle? Is that a 24-ounce bottle? And that can vary. But in general, I think it's imperative for everyone to recognize the intensity to which they need to exercise.
Finally, be aware of heat-related illness red flags. The CDC says muscle cramping may be an early sign. If you feel faint or weak, stop all activity and get to a cool place.
The symptoms can be wide and varied. It can just be a little bit more fatigued, sluggish, headaches, lethargy, even feeling some nauseousness or just feeling out of sorts.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The CDC says to call 911 right away if there are any signs of heat stroke. Those include high body temperature, hot, red, dry, or damp skin, a fast, strong pulse, and loss of consciousness. A new unpublished study finds eating ultra-processed foods at higher levels could shorten lifespans by more than 10%. Ultra-processed foods contain ingredients never or rarely used in kitchens or additives to make the final product more appealing. Researchers studied more than 500,000 people for nearly 3 decades, asking about their consumption of 124 foods. Those who ate the most ultra-processed food were more likely to die from heart disease or diabetes. Highly processed meat and soft drinks were the most strongly associated with the mortality risk. Taking antidepressants can cause patients to put on a couple of extra pounds. That's according to a study published in the week of Annals Internal Medicine. This research focused on how much average weight people could gain from taking 8 of the most common antidepressants. The findings showed the typical adult on those drugs adds 1 to 2 pounds annually, which doctors say could eventually lead to obesity. Data from more than 183,000 people were used in this study. Those involved in the research say patients battling depression could try to avoid gaining more weight with healthy eating habits and regular exercise. Still ahead, a new study could show promising results for those who need prosthetics. But first, here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
on the Great American Recipe.
We're inviting you to the second annual Great American Recipe Bake Sale.
Here we go. I have participated in many bake sales.
Be careful with all those crumbs that's around the side.
I have no idea how this is going to turn out.
It's really all about that bake.
Let's go, guys.
I am nervous about these cakes.
I've just never had anything like this.
I can eat 5 of them, you know?
Monday at 9 on WOUB.
You know a soup's going to be good when it starts with browned pancetta.
Get ready as Bridget, Julia, and the rest of the gang explore new recipes and cooking techniques.
And now the crimping begins.
Plus new gadgets, equipment, and ingredients.
Is there anything sadder than a burger on a plain bun?
It's a great new season of America's Test Kitchen.
I'm going through a lot of cake.
Fasten your seatbelts.
This is amazing.
Wow.
Did he vote?
It feels like I have a home.
These are your immigrant ancestors.
This is wild.
Never anticipated this. I am forever changed.
I'm pleased to tell you you're going to be in finding your roots.
Are we really this close?
I can't tell you what we found, but what we found was you.
It's our only home.
This was a totally unexpected discovery.
Just growing anticipation and excitement, and then boom.
It's not just about coral reefs, it's about life on this planet.
It's amazing what these divers are doing so that humans can be a part of the solution.
There's so much evidence of life in the ice ages in North America. That is a human footprint.
Wednesday on WOUB.
Finally tonight, a bionic leg fully controlled by the human nervous system has demonstrated natural walking speeds and steps. That's according to a new study published Monday in the journal Nature Medicine. The new neuroprosthesis from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology is fully connected to the brain. The prosthetic can sense its position and movement and send the information back to the patient. According to the study, patients with specialized amputation and neuroprosthetics increase their walking speed 41%. Isabel, I mean, technology today is amazing. Like, that's awesome.
It is. I'm so glad to be alive during this time. Anytime that you need a surgery or anything, it's just so medically advanced. It is just awesome for those people that need it. For our final look at weather tonight, currently out there, it is 90 degrees, those clear skies, that humidity, it is on a little bit of the rise, but it has been a very dry one out there. It's been very comfortable for our day. Those comfortable temperatures are sticking in through the night with that low of 67 with those partly cloudy skies. It will be a nice one out there for you tonight. Tomorrow night, not looking like it though. For that high of 93 and that low of 70, that 30% chance of showers that is possible, that is more likely for the later half of the night. Past about that 10 o'clock hour is whenever that chance of storms starts to come in. This is for our Thursday, for our 4th of July. We are in that marginal risk of some thunderstorms. So if you're outside and you see some rain, we do have the chance of a little bit of higher winds, a little bit more of that thunder and that lightning. But we are in that just marginal risk, so it will be a little bit less. Thursday, that 80% chance of showers and a little bit chillier than we've had for these last couple of days. And then for the rest of the week, we're looking at a lot of storms possible, except for our Sunday, where we have those partly sunny skies once again.
And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. For Isabel Isco, I'm Donovan Varney. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org or follow us on social media. Have a great night.
This is the PBS app, ready for you when you want to watch full episodes of your favorite shows. Even stream your local station live. Stream anytime